What's going on, guys? You know what today is? Today is
Tactical Tuesday.
Say it.
You better slow down my voice too. I feel like you're not gonna.
Tactical
Tuesday.
So the last time we were together, I was out in Austin, and we did basically like RUCK selection and talked a little bit about his RUCK march, which you've got the Baton Death March coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up in yep, it's about two months away. I have the Baton Death March, White Sands, New Mexico.
How many people are gonna be there?
I don't know how many people go. I mean, I posted online and I got so much response that hey, my unit's going, I have a team going, ROTC program's going.
Awesome.
It's huge. I think it's drive a lot of people out there. I heard it's a great event.
Well, it's better than 150 miles.
I hope so.
Which will only probably what's going to mean is you're just going to go faster.
I'm going to go faster. Yeah, I'm going to push myself like as hard as possible in this one.
Basically running a marathon for the RUCK.
Yeah, well, last time I did a Force 26-mile RUCK march, I woke up the next morning in the most pain of my life. Like literally, like I couldn't walk. I was like, "What's going on?" I had to walk to formation the next morning.
Well, you've got the marathon coming up in a couple weeks, and then after that, you've got the Baton Death March, and then what's after that? You just gonna take a break?
People keep telling me to do this thing called the 106 West triathlons. I'm gonna look into that. I think a little bit. I guess.
Oh my God.
Gotta push the limits.
Gotta push the limits all the way to the grave. So last time we got together and we talked about RUCK selection, you guys were really interested in boots and socks. So that's what I want to talk about specifically, like exactly what boots and what socks people wear. You guys wanted more specifics. Boots. What boots did you wear in the Army for RUCK?
Man, I've worn a bunch of different pair. I think to preface this, it's boots and socks are so important because if you take care of your feet will take care of you.
Absolutely.
So it's all prevention, and then as you're going, monitoring your feet. But boot and sock selection can make the biggest difference. So like, I've worn Oakleys, I've worn Reeboks, Rockies.
What could you wear in the like in the Army?
Any of them. I mean, as long as they fit 670-1.
Okay.
And they met the regulations. Yeah, you could wear. Pretty much, there were so many off-brand boots you could wear.
Marine Corps was not like that.
Oh, we had a huge selection.
Oh, we did not have a huge selection at all.
I'll tell you, I enjoyed the Oakleys. I wore those for a while.
I wore those as well.
I love those, the salt boots.
They're not good for fast roping, FYI. Do not fast rope with the Oakleys. I don't know if the new versions, but the older versions, they would turn into fire.
I'll tell you one thing about Oakleys though. If you get the ones that are made in the United States, they're great.
Those are the ones we got issued because they were, they had to be whatever regulated.
I once ordered a pair that were not from the United States, not the same boot.
Fell apart.
Fell apart. It was garbage.
And the Oakleys, their Oakleys were great for like patrolling and that sort of thing, unless you got them wet. And if you got them wet, they would, oh my God, they were just like walking in two huge sponges.
I remember my Oakleys; they would never dry.
They wouldn't dry. Yeah. So there's your own Oakleys. Super comfortable for running. Super comfortable for like patrolling and walking around, but they get wet, they suck, and then they will melt if you try to fast rope with them. Just food for thought.
I think a lot of people come down to like they want a heavy boot or a light boot because they make some really lightweight boots.
Well, that's a good point. So this is what everybody wants. You guys, like when you comment, you want like a finite solution, and it's not the way it works. It's the right tool for the right job. There is not one size fits all. You know, like everybody's like, well, you have to wear the same gear. Like remember the old thing, like you had to set your gear up and no matter what, you always wear the same gear in the same position so that you know where all your stuff is. Yeah. Yes, I understand that concept, but the thing is the job, every mission is different. So every setup is different. So you have to train with all of them. So just like that, every patrol, every climate, every terrain is all different. So you have to change your tool for the job. Right?
I agree, yeah.
So while an Oakley boot works really well at some places, it doesn't work really well in others. So for rucking though, I would say unless it's raining, Oakley boot is probably a pretty solid boot depending on the weight that you have.
Yeah, I mean I was never a huge fan of the really light boots, unless I knew I was gonna be in like some water or something where it would dry really fast afterwards. But I want something that has like a happy medium. Typically, like, my universal boot, my ideal boot that I'm gonna wear like to work, for a ruck, for some different stuff. It's going to be like a medium weight with a lot of structure around my ankles because I want.
So what boot has you found that meets that?
The Rockies that I'm working with right now.
Okay. So with the Rocky, what model? Because this is what they're gonna say.
Man, pull them up and we'll find out.
Yeah. Enhance. That's the one I used. So for me personally, the one that I got issued and really fell in love with was the RUCK STV Tactical Military Boot non steel toe.
Oh, right now I have that one right there.
Which one?
This one.
Okay. So
I've worn the STVs. I wore those in Ranger School. And I loved them.
Yeah. So okay, I think I had this one too. The lightweight boot. I had these in Iraq. So the other one that he's using is the RUCK lightweight commercial military boot, which I'll put a link below.
This is the one I'm using for train up for the RUCK March right now, the Baton Death March.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to say this is not an ad for RUCK or any other boot. We're just talking about boots. Chill the fuck out. Have you had any issues with weight,
like
in the light boots?
Weight as in
like how much weight you're carrying. So like in Ranger School, you didn't wear the lightweight ones.
I did for Florida phase.
Well, that makes sense.
I wore the really lightweight ones because I knew they were gonna get like they got
trashed.
I threw them out.
Yeah, afterwards. Same here. So like most of the times that I did when I went through ARS and some of the other courses, by the time I got through my boots were trashed.
When I was carrying heavier loads though, I never wanted to light boot because as soon as I like pulled myself up,
that's my point.
I could feel my ankles.
My ankles go.
Yeah, my ankles were going.
So the more weight, and we're talking like some of these courses that we were taking, we were talking about. Here in Ranger School, when he was an RTO, his pack was over 100 pounds, and you weighed 178 at the time.
178, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, keep that in mind. A light boot means not much, I guess, rigid sides, and they take a lot out so that it can be lighter and dry faster. But it also reduces your stabilization in your ankle. So keep that in mind if you're wanting to get into a profession where you're having to carry a lot of weight. I remember one time in Iraq, I was carrying, and I had the S2Vs on in Iraq, and I was 340 total on the scale with my RUCK and everything before an insert. 340 pounds on my ankles. So keep that in mind.
I think another thing to keep in mind is like that weight's on your back, but that's not like glued to your back. So as like you're moving, that weight's shifting.
Absolutely.
And that goes from the top
all
to the bottom.
way, and you have to be stable in your ankles to be able to control those little micro movements.
Yeah, so I think all these people harp on like, it's like runners, like, what's the latest shoe? What's the latest shoe? The latest boot is not always the best boot.
Right.
So I mean, you got to find like you said, what boot fits the job that you're doing.
Yeah. And
how's it going to help you?
So when I started doing, it wasn't a heavy weight. When we were doing run around, like when I was doing Recon Indoctrination Platoon RIP, I was wearing Bates lights. Remember those?
Yeah.
The black Bates lights. And that was my boot to run around in and to do whatever. When we went into the field, I actually used the old school jungle boots, laced them up real tight. And that's because on the East Coast here, it was, I mean, you're just wet all the time. And we needed something that was going to dry fast and not get my foot all rotted. As I progressed, I moved to the Rockies, and then finally, we actually got the A Solos, which are a very heavy, non-bending boot. But man, I tell you what, I have a pair of A Solos that are 10 years old, and I have patrolled, again, colder weather in Afghanistan, mountainous terrain. A Solos are where it's at. And that's what worked for me. They kept my feet warm. They were like somewhat waterproof up to the line, and so that worked for that terrain. Now, would I have wore A Solos in the helmet or in the desert in the middle of the summer? Probably not. I probably would have gone to a more breathable, lightweight boot, but that's what I personally wore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you going to do the Baton Death March?
The lightweight Rockies.
Lightweight Rockies.
Yeah.
You're only carrying 35 for that.
Only carrying 35, and
what did you carry for the 150?
35.
35.
And I wore Reeboks for that. But like,
which Reeboks were they?
Man, let's pull them up. But I had these boots my last 18 months in the Army. So these were broken in boots, and this 150-mile ruck I was doing was like a last-minute thing. I had 2 weeks' notice, so I didn't want to break in a new pair. So I just went with something that worked. I knew it was going to work.
Okay, so his boot, his Reebok was the Fusion Max.
And I had 2 pair of those, and
yeah,
I liked them.
Like that?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it right there.
Those are nice, man. Reebok, if you watch this, I'd like a pair of these boots, please.
They're comfortable. They were comfortable. They broke in easy. But what I found with the Rockies, my first time wearing them, I did a 12-mile ruck march, and no hot spots, no blisters, no nothing. So they broke in fast.
The Rockies do that.
Yeah. It was great. It was a great boot.
So socks. What socks did you use?
I switched between 2 pair. I have Fox Rivers and Darn Toughs. I think they're both like a 70% wool.
Yeah.
Majority wool.
Yeah. So here's the deal with wool, guys. Like, do not wear like a cotton sock. It will keep the moisture on your feet. Wool will wick that stuff away. It'll pull it away. I've wore a wool cap while diving in the cold water. I put a wool cap while doing hydrographic surveys on a beach, and then been able to keep my head warm even though it's completely soaking wet. It's the same thing with your feet. People, summertime, wintertime, it doesn't matter. When I've patrolled, always a wool sock or a wool blend sock.
Yeah, because even if you're not walking through water, your feet are sweating.
Yeah, Fox Rivers are good. Smart Wool's good. Even honestly, I've used like the REI brand of wool blend socks, and those work really well too.
You can tell like issued socks, like you wear them once, like they get the bacon, everything's falling, like
Yeah.
the threads fall apart.
Yeah.
You get something with some sort of nylon or like nylon and wool where it's wicking, it's close to you.
Yeah.
It's form fitting.
So the Fox River ones, the Smart Wool ones are like that. They're REI ones. They're all about a 75% blend wool with some, like, was it polyester?
Polyester and like a nylon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, you can't go wrong. But do not go get Hanes white cotton socks and put them on your feet and then go do a ruck run or a march or anything like that. It's gonna destroy your feet.
Yeah, the thing too is like they'll start bunching and they'll move around.
Yeah.
You want them like, the sock should be tight when you're putting it on your foot.
Yeah.
Because as you're moving and your feet are
it doesn't wear out in certain spots and then bunch up underneath your foot, because that will surely you'll just have shredded meat hanging off your feet.
Yeah. And it comes down to too, like how far is your ruck march and how often do you want to change your socks.
Right.
Keeping your feet dry, your socks fresh, that's going to sustain you throughout that ruck.
So those are my recommendations. Smart Wool, Fox Rivers,
Darn Tough.
And then I've had good success with the REI heavy duty. I wear with the lightweight ones sometimes, but I've also got the real thick REI ones that are pretty expensive. Mm-hmm. But always wool, summer, winter, spring, doesn't matter. A wool blend sock is gonna treat you right.
These are the boots and sock recommendations that I've worn for not only rucking, but when I go on hikes, like my Big Bend trip, it was those socks and those boots the entire way through.
I'll put a link below to all the socks that we're recommending, all the boots right below. So if you want to check any of those out, hit them up.
The thing is too, if you invest in a solid, like I invested in 6 pairs of socks. They're more expensive, but I've had those 6 pair of socks for like 4 years.
So my heavy duty REI socks that I have, the lightweight ones I've worn out, but the heavy duty thick ones, like I think they're called like the mountain version, real thick. I've had them for about 10 years.
Yeah,
you can't destroy them.
No.
Yeah. All right, that's it, guys. There's your Tactical Tuesday on boots and socks. Very weird video, but you guys asked for it. Hope that helps. You guys know the deal. Never quit, never surrender. Go check out Bear Performance Nutrition. Ta-ching!
Check it out.
Always forward. See you guys next time.